So it's 133rd day of Ukrainian resistance. Here is Ukraine Media Center. I'm Vasil Samokvalov, and we are launching our next briefing. And we will talk to Serhiy Makohon, Chief Executive Officer of Gas Transmission System Operator of Ukraine, LLC. We will speak about Ukrainian gas transmission system. Serhiy, good afternoon. Welcome. Um, well, the first question is rather broad but very interesting. What is the current functioning of the Ukrainian gas transmission system? Well, what about its functioning in the conditions of war in the country? It's very difficult to operate the system, but anyway, we're doing our best to ensure gas transmission to all Ukrainian users. Yes, we have a lot of damages. Mainly, I speak here about Donetsk, Luhansk, Kharkiv regions, Zaporizhia region. And the moment we get an opportunity to repair the system, we do this. We actively cooperate with uh, regional gas companies and distribution networks because we have great damages in different cities. We know that the artillery is very active. The enemy is using it against civilians and infrastructural facilities in different towns and cities. So our active cooperation with gas companies and distribution systems is important. We are taking pains to keep gas available in the houses of our residents. And we also deal with transition through the territory of Ukraine. Transition is important for us, and it's not the point of money that we are earning on this. That is the issue of safety of our networks, because we can see that so far Russian troops are not purposefully destroying our gas transmission system because they are interested in transition. And we don't have separate pipelines for internal supply and for transition. So until we have transition, there is some safety in terms of preserving and keeping our gas transmission pipelines. And in this way, we will be able still to supply gas to Ukrainian users. So it's clear as far as security issues are concerned. And what about transition and gas transmission? And what are the amounts? What are the figures? In particular if compared with the pre-war time? Well, so far the scope is minimum. It's about 40 million cubic meters per day. And this is the minimum as compared to the recent years. And this is the continuation of the Gazprom strategy. They're trying to dry the European market because you know that they have reduced gas transmission even in their Nord Stream 1 almost by 100 million cubic meters. Also, there was a termination of the functioning of the Turkish stream. They are not using Polish one. It has been empty since almost the beginning of the year, and they have reduced the volume transferred to Ukraine to the minimum. Under the contract, 109 million cubic meters are to be transmitted, and we are using only 40% of what has been reserved by them and for what they are paying. Let me clarify some things. So anyway, it looks as if Russia has taken both us and the whole Europe hostage. And we see that Europe has understood that changes are possible, and probably we will have embargo on the Russian gas, and Europe is diversifying its markets. So what about the changes in the Ukrainian gas transmission system, and how is it going to change following the European direction? Well, thank you. As far as diversification is concerned, that's true. We've been actively working over the recent 2 years at increasing the import of gas from Europe. And last year, we established for the first time since 2014 the guaranteed capacity for gas import from Hungary and Poland. And we increased almost twice the capacity of gas transmission from Slovakia. So we have actually doubled this capacity, and the overall import capacity has increased from 27 to 54 million per day. And this is actually enough to provide Ukraine with the necessary volume of import, because so far we still need to import an additional volume of gas because our own production is not yet sufficient to cover our needs. Before the war, Ukraine used to consume about 30 billion cubic meters a year, and we produced and we extracted 20. Now consumption has gone down. We expect that consumption will be at the level of about 21, 22 billion cubic meters, and extraction also reduced a little bit. But anyway, we will additionally need to import about 3 to 4 billion cubic meters. And the government has decided that Naftahaz has to ensure gas reserves in the warehousing storage facilities in the amount of 19 billion cubic meters, and now they have about 11. Let me ask about those underground warehousing facilities. What about the volume of this, and whether it's really possible to survive in the next winter? Because we understand that the preparation for winter is going to be bad. Yes, because of the complex situation related to the hostilities. But anyway, the Cabinet of Ministers is really very carefully dealing with those issues of winterization and preparation for winter. And this, here I mean both coal reserves and energy, nuclear power plants, combined generation, the preparation of all those elements for winter. And there are plans for the reserves and warehousing storage facilities. But this winter is going to be probably the toughest in our history because of the war. But if there are no major damages and destructions of infrastructural facilities, 19 billion cubic meters, 19 billion cubic meters in the underground facilities will meet our needs both for heating purposes and for CHPs, and we will still have some reserves for generating capacities, because some thermal power plants will be able to switch from coal to gas if there is no coal available, and will keep producing electricity. As far as directions of import are concerned, I've already mentioned that now import is mainly done from Poland, from Slovakia, Hungary, not in very large volumes. I will not voice the figures, but the import has been launched, and we're working at the expansion of the opportunities from the Trans-Balkan area, which is LNG terminals in Greece and Turkey, because we can see very positive dynamics in relation to Azerbaijani gas, and therefore we are working at the possibility for Ukrainian traders to buy gas there. There is already an opportunity, the possibility to technically buy gas from Polish LNG terminals, and very soon there will be the interconnector between Slovakia and Poland, which will also allow us to increase the capacities of guaranteed imports from Poland. And there, at the end of this year, there will be a new Baltic pipe gas pipeline. This is the pipe going from the Norwegian shore to shale to Poland. And the capacity is rather fine there. So we hope that our traders will also have a chance to buy this gas via this pipeline, either from Norway or from Poland, and import this gas to Ukraine. You have partially answered the last question I wanted to ask you, but let me specify it. Taking into account the development of the situation, what do you think the changes with the Ukrainian gas transmission systems within 5 years are going to be? How will the logistic, the financial, the organization models change? Where will we, what point of destination will we reach in 5 years if the situation develops like this? Well, unfortunately, the situation is not unfolding in an expected way. A year ago, we didn't expect a war to happen. We didn't expect such a reduction in gas transit. And we didn't expect Europe rejecting Russian gas. But we were always preparing for this so-called zero transit scenario because we used to have precedents in 2006, 2009 when Russians just closed the taps on their territory, closed the valves on their territory. And we had this problem in the access point of Sokhanivka, where separatists started breakaway groups started stealing our gas to supply it to non-government controlled territories, and actually Russians also closed their taps there because we refused to accept gas in this direction. And we were getting ready for the zero transit. Our system can work without transit, which will not be a conventional mode of work operation, but we are ready for this. How will our system be used for the future? Well, first of all, we need to make a major optimization because we don't need this high capacity of the gas transmission system. We realize that most probably in the nearest future, within some 3 to 5 years, Europe will fully reject Russian gas and there will be no need for transit via the Ukrainian territory. But so far, we insist that the last cubic meter of Russian gas that will come to Europe to goes through the Ukrainian system and not through Nord Stream 1. So that's why we are now trying to terminate the operation of Nord Stream 1, and we have submitted an application to the German government and to the German regulator, and we are actively working in this direction now. So we expect that there will be no transit, and we will be looking for new directions for using our system. Our system will function because, as I already mentioned, we have our own production. It's 20 billion cubic meters. It's very high, and I hope it will keep rising because we have the plans for the Black Sea Shelf gas production, and there are some gas reserves onshore in the territory of Ukraine. That's why the gas transmission system will keep functioning and servicing our local consumers, producers, and companies and residents. But we will be looking for new directions of business development. This is not something very much unique because Europe is moving in that direction. So first of all, this is biomethane, which means production of methane gas from organic substances, raw materials. And last year we lobbied the law on biomethane. So far we have the regulation on biomethane approved, which allows to supply methane to our networks. We are preparing amendments to the gas transmission system code, and we hope that within some 3 to 5 years, Ukraine will be able to produce up to 2 billion cubic meters of biomethane. The other direction would be hydrogen. All Europe is preparing to transportation of hydrogen and mixtures of hydrogen with methane. We also actively working in this direction. Fortunately, we have terminated a lot of projects in this direction of preparation for hydrogen transportation. But we hope very much that after our victory, after the end of the war, we will restore those projects and will start preparing for the new hydrogen economy. And the same as a part of Europe, since we have got the candidate status, we will also be actively involved in this new green future development. Yes, thank you. I hope that our candidacy in the EU will also course, green energy development, but that's the subject of our further talk. So thank you for this informative speech. That is Serhiy Makohon, the CEO of the gas transmission system operator of Ukraine. And the next briefing will come at 12 at noon. Alexander Sienkiewicz, Mykolaiv.